Let's go out to Charlotte, North Carolina, and talk to the mighty Tori. Hey, Tori, what's up?
Hi, Dr. John. How are you today?
We're partying. What are you up to?
I'm good. This is my second time calling you, actually. 2 years ago, I was the L&D nurse that asked your advice for how to mourn when we lose babies.
Oh, wow. Did I give you terrible advice?
No, it was so amazing. I've sent that podcast to so many other nurse friends when we've gone through things, and it's been so helpful. I'm so thankful.
Well, you're a saint.
I decided I'd call you back.
You are awesome.
Keep testing my luck.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna take another spinner on the roulette wheel. So what's up?
Okay, so when I called, I wasn't a parent, and now my husband and I are parents of a beautiful 5-month-old baby boy.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's been going really well. Really thankful for him. And I feel like we're great parents together. We're in line in everything. My question for you is, what do I do when my husband and I disagree on who will raise our baby if we were to both die?
It's so good. You're like, we agree on everything. We are perfect.
Everything.
What do we do if we agree not on the most important thing ever?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so one of you wants family and one of you hates the idea of family. Who's who?
I think family is great, but I can't commit to it right now. I think you'd be pretty, it's good comical relief if I was to lay out the family situation for you.
Okay.
Between the two of us.
He wants family?
He wants family, yes. Between the two of us, we have 10 siblings. He's one of 9 kids. I'm one of 3. So you'd think at some point this would work out, right? My small non-negotiable list is that I'd want someone who shares our faith, someone who shares our same views of money and financial peace, a family unit with a strong marriage, so no single parent situation. And then I'm from the U.S. and he's from Ecuador, so there's a little cultural clash here. And I'd want someone that would appreciate, both of those cultures, that he'd grow up with both of those languages, that sort of thing. And my husband says, nope, just family. So
yeah, you've put a tall order out there as well. And I want him to be tall and super good looking. And I want him to be named Brad and Pitt. And that would be great.
We happen to have 2 very great friends that we cherish, that we go on vacation together with, that we love a lot. I've never talked to them about this because I don't have the go-ahead from my husband. But he's from Mexico. She's from the United States. And all convictions are there. And I'm like, they'd be a great option. And my husband's like, you're right, they're a great option, but they're not family. So it's a no-go.
Okay. So here's step number 1 before anything else happens. And I'm even going to press you before this week is over.
Mm-hmm.
You'll have to put somebody down on paper.
Yes.
You and I both work in jobs where we've sat with people who the worst of the worst has happened.
Yep.
And you are, by doing nothing at this point, except just going back and forth, you're going to let the state of North Carolina, which does not have a good track record recently of making good choices, be the custodian of your family. And then you're going to have 12 brothers and sisters coming out of the woods.
Right.
All over the place.
Yep.
And you're going to have people disappear into other country. You're going to have a mess on your hands. So even if it's the best of a bad situation with family, pick somebody.
Right.
And then begin the discernment process, or what I would call the negotiation process. But you'll have to put somebody down on paper ASAP.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
okay?
I agree.
Is that fair?
Absolutely fair.
All right. Now.
Yes.
I want y'all to. Can y'all? Is this a civil conversation? Is it funny, or is it starting to get kind of
totally
tense?
Civil, yes. And we're both apologetic. And I think we're really good at sacrificing, or give and take and stuff. And both of us are like, I'm so sorry, but I can't give up my convictions on this.
Okay.
It's very civil.
Okay. So I want y'all to go on a date. And I want you to have a blank sheet of paper, and if you go to Michael's or not Home Depot, Michael's or Crafts Etc., something like that, one of those places, I want you to get some really nice cardstock paper. Okay, and I'm telling you that because I want this to be kind of a miniature event.
Yeah.
And at the top of the paper, I want you to write the word "who," and I want you to scratch it out. And underneath it, I want you to write "what."
Yeah.
It's very easy when we're going through who we want to keep our kid, picturing us being gone and our kids sobbing at a funeral, being held by somebody. You can't do that without being just covered up with emotion, right? I can get choked up in 5 seconds thinking of my kids. And when we get emotional about a who, it just clouds everything. So the idea of we're going to look at characteristics first. What do we want the people who would be in our kids' lives? What do we want them to embody, to inhabit? Who do we want these people to be? And then you're going to say things like faith. And is it faith? I just want them to be Christian, or they have to go to this particular building in this particular denomination. When it comes to finances, like you got to follow the Dave Ramsey plan. If you borrow money, or I just don't want them to go from our place. They're going to burn through our life insurance and be in poverty. Like, what does that mean? Okay.
Right.
Cultural representation. Do you want them to like know a second and third language? Do you want them to travel? What does that mean? What are we looking for here? And then the exercise becomes who in our life can backfill that. Once you've gone through and laid all these things out, then you start plugging the who into it. And it does change the equation. Then you land on it. I tell you, in my house, what we went with ultimately wasn't family, which is surprise. Here's why. Because my kids have now been 6 years in a state different than both of our families where they live. And so the thing that makes me the most worried about my kids is not that my parents or his parent or my wife's parents or our brothers and sisters aren't going to be involved in our kids' lives. Of course they will. It's that on top of losing their parents, they wouldn't have a deep relationship with the person they're being dropped off to. And so we went with friends who we have a very close relationship here that my kids know, they see, they interact with on a regular basis. But if we had just started with who, would have started with family. It's got to be family. Which one of the family? Well, I don't know about that brother. I don't know about that sister. We just started there.
Right.
But by working through the what do we want our kids to have a relationship with, we want them to be comfortable, we want them to be close, we want them to the same schools. Oh, that's going to be here then, right? And that changed the equation.
Yeah.
What's your husband's stranglehold on family? Has to be family.
He has definitely had situations where he's been burned by friends in the past. And what he says just repeatedly is the case for him is, and he's like, I don't care if it's my family, I don't care if it's your family, like as long as it's family. But he says no one will be as loyal as family. Like I just can't trust anyone as family, which if we would go into the deep story, I have a very different perspective on that.
Yeah, I would tell him he's wrong
family,
on that
I can pull out evidence.
Yeah, he's wrong on that
It's not logical.
Yeah.
And I asked him, I feel the same way you do about, like, we just have to get someone on paper. So I was like, we have to put someone, we died today, who do you want baby to go to? And he said his parents, and I love his parents. I'm actually like one of those really rare people that just super loves her mother-in-law, but they're in their like mid to late 60s.
Yeah.
And I don't want my baby to go through losing his primary family, not once, but twice, you know?
Yeah.
So
have you told him that?
I feel like that's not a good, absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
Here's another conversation to have. And this is a conversation my wife and I have on an annual basis. This does not have to be a one and done forever.
Yeah.
This can be, let's do 1 year. Let's do 1 year. And if it's that couple friend you're talking about that's got more in common culturally, financially, spiritually with you guys right now, it can be a matter of sitting down and letting him just go at them. We're picking you guys if y'all will say yes. If you burn us, if you whatever. And by the way, you can set stuff up in a trust to where it's pretty specific from when you die. Right. So you can still have some control over that. I started rattling all that off, and my wife said, whoa. If we're putting them down to take care of our kids and we don't trust them enough to need to buy, if they have to buy a car for them, like then we're not putting them down.
Right.
And I was like, oh, yeah, you're right. And that was just me trying to keep a bunch of control from the grave, right? Which is an anxiety response, but it's not really reality.
Yeah.
But I think giving yourselves the freedom to say, okay, every year we're going to revisit this. Every year we're going to revisit this. And maybe for you, okay, I'll put your mom and dad down this year. Next year, they're going to be 1 year older. Right? Yep. And then. How's that sound?
Yeah. It sounds good. And I will say, and what I tell him too, like, I agree, my ultimate goal would be family. We have, between both of us, 5 unmarried younger brothers. And just knowing some of them have dated girls I haven't really liked in the past, I'm like, I think 3 of those 5 are fantastic options, and we'll see how time goes, and who they end up with and the careers they choose and, what they make of themselves. So I think, taking it year to year definitely sounds like it could be.
Hey, Tori, do you know what I am right now?
What are you?
I'm a YouTuber. If somebody had looked at my resume 5 years ago and said, we want Dr. Delony. We want Dr. Delony, the professor, and Dr. Delony, the dean of students, to be the people who raise our kids.
Yeah.
Now it would be Dr. Delony, the coach and author and gardener, and Dr. Delony, the YouTuber who's desperately trying to get into a punk band. Right? So, and I tell you, trying to predict what jobs people are going to have, what church building they're going to go to, that's just a fool's errand.
Stability, though.
I know. I get it.
Yeah.
But it's also, nobody's going to be the parent for your kids that you are.
That's true.
And some of it is leaving. I trust you guys. Here, I'm going to detail what I can in a trust. So my money goes X, Y, and Z. Here's my requests for school and education and things like that. And then I just don't want to die. And a lot of that angst comes on the back end of that.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does.
And by the way, Tori, you're not going to, statistically speaking. You're good.
Maybe if I stress about it more, it won't happen, right?
Yeah, exactly. Just get really wound up about it all. It tends to solve problems. Here's what this means. This means that you love your little baby. And if you're like me, I didn't know I had the capacity. I didn't know I had the capacity to love like this. And I didn't know what to do with it. And it made me angsty.
Yeah.
So I started playing whack-a-mole with every variable I could find. And that's not how love works. And it's the worst. True. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for you.
Thanks.
Will you let me know how it goes?
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, so we're thinking about, I proposed to our products team here. I want to create a product called Talkabouts, or some kind of, it's like Questions for Humans, except it's about important conversations, like making a will and so you're getting divorced, right? Like, that'll walk you through some of these hard things.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Would a deck of cards of who we're leaving our kid to, would that be helpful?
Absolutely. Yes. I think I have all of your Questions for Humans, and we've gone through them only 27,000 times, and I would definitely get on that bandwagon too.
All right. I'm gonna tell everybody that I did some market research with an N equals 1, and we are definitely doing this moving forward. It's been an honor to talk to you again, Tori. I'm so glad that you reached back out. Try a couple of those things I suggested, but I think sitting down and saying, what? Like, let's do characteristics, let's do ideals, and then maybe on the backside or another paper, put fears. What are the things that scare us the most? And my guess is, for both of you, the ultimate fear is somebody else is raising this little angel, this little amazing heartbeat of mine that's now out of my body in that crib over there. And that's just something you got to grieve through and breathe through, and you got to go make the next right call. And give yourself some flexibility. Change it every year if you need to. Readdress it every year if you need to. It's not a static one and done, but you got to get somebody on paper ASAP. You're the best, Tori. I'm grateful for you.